Since the pandemic forced us all into a new way of working, the average Briton now goes into the office just 1.5 days a week. That's quite shocking, really, isn't it? But rocketing bills could see people heading back to their desks this winter to keep warm.
Well, figures suggest working from home could cost an extra £2,500 a year from October. Remote workers use an extra 75% of gas per day during winter, 25% more electricity compared to those who go into the office 5 days a week.
Boiling the kettle 3 times a day will add £8 a month, and using the oven to cook lunch will add almost £24. It all adds up, doesn't it?
Don't forget running that desktop computer. For 8 hours a day, that will cost you nearly £36 a month.
So, is it time for companies to pay their staff who work from home more to cover their costs? Joining us now is Tina Knight, chairwoman of Women into Business, who says those working from home are saving enough money already, are you? And business owner Geeta Sidhu-Rob, who thinks it's a great idea and businesses should pass on their savings to employees. Thanks for joining us, both of you. Geeta, come to you first on this. I mean, it sounds like a great idea. You run a business. Is it something that you're doing? Are you paying your staff to stay at home and pay towards their bills?
I mean, we're definitely... I think the world has changed. I think we have to accept it's changed and we have to move forward with that. And one of the things about being small businesses is we're able to be a bit more agile, so we're kind of leading, I think, on this. So we are paying people more because it costs them more to live, and we're paying people more because they're working from home and it costs them more to work from home.
Right.
I mean, obviously, in our proportion, and we're tiny.
Yes, of
but
course.
if we can do it, why can't a big company do it?
Yeah.
OK, Tina, what do you make of that, then? Is it fair enough if people are working from home, it's costing them more in their bills to be able to do that? Isn't it fair that an employer supports them?
Could I just ask how many people you employ?
So I've got 5 full-time and I have 10 freelancers.
Right, so it puts things in... I understand your comment about putting things in perspective. No, I don't agree, for the simple reason that these people will not be paying travel costs, which, let's face it, is a very large proportion as many people's salaries travelling. They don't have to pay out for lunches. Doubt that many people will be cooking a lunch. If in my experience, it's normally, crackers and cheese sort of lunchtime type thing. They don't have to buy work clothes. They have extra time because they're not travelling. And the business of them having to pay extra for the facilities, not all, but a lot of the company, the houses will automatically have people living in them, so they're using the facilities anyway. So, if anything, if there's going to be extra money available, which I doubt with many companies at the moment, it should go to the people who are actually trudging into work and keeping the ship floating for many, many corporations.
So I can see you shaking your head.
Like, oh, my God. Sorry, Tina, but let's look at it this way. You never paid their travel anyway. You didn't pay for their clothes. You didn't pay for their lunch. It is none of your business.
I'm very sorry. Most companies' salaries that they offer their staff take into account the travel overheads. Most companies, the salary is accordingly. And if they're working from home, then they don't have that expense. So they are better off. They don't need to be paid extra. And it's like everything, it's all proportionate. You run a very small company, and I'm sure it's very successful, and you can be far more flexible. We have to look at the realities. It's all a question of choice, and this decision is up to the employer, not the employee,
you're missing a bit of a point there, though. I mean,
just a small
everything's gone up a little bit, but energy prices have gone up extortionately. I mean,
yes,
this is going to be a real struggle for people.
It's going to be a struggle for everybody, and we have to accept that on that basis we've got to work together and tighten our belts and get through it.
It's like a work apartheid.
Thank you
because
for
you're a bit. I am
again.
so sorry to interrupt you, but I actually feel like this is unacceptable.
Well, that's fine. You think it's
people...
unacceptable, so I'll interrupt you. If you're going to keep interrupting me, I will do the same. Basically, I haven't made my point, and the point is that things are changing, but the decision is that of the employer who has to look at his business. There are many businesses that can accommodate people working from home. There's no doubt about that. But there's a lot where it is not suitable, and therefore the person that is running the business has to look at the economics and the viability of this, and the decision should be theirs. And basically, it's getting out of hand with everybody is going to be suffering. Everybody wants more money, and it's not the time now. We have got to start raising productivity and get the country back on its feet.
So the point is that Tina, I know, thinks that people are more productive when they come to work. And I think that is a deep lack of trust in your employees. If you think your employees are only going to be working when you're watching them, that is absolutely a problem. And also, the thing is, I work with very big companies, which is lovely to notice that my small company makes no difference. But I work with a company, for example, that has 260,000 employees. 20% of their employees come to work. 20% of them. That company is saving money and is now actually subletting out their office floors, 2 of the floors, because they don't need those floors. You know, this is a really old-fashioned viewpoint, and the pandemic has changed our world. ESG is really important, and ESG should mean that my employees matter to me as well, not just the ones that come to work, but the people that keep my entire company running. And if it's going to hurt me and I can't eat and I can't work well and I can't function well, you shouldn't say, well, you're working from home. Oh, well, you should just earn a bit less.
Okay.
What rubbish.
Peter, whatever you do, don't look to your left, because Tina's look at the moment is not great.
I'm looking at you.
Just keep looking at me.
Y'all are looking so cute at the moment.
Tina, the floor is yours. Tina, the floor is yours.
We should be looking to the future with this. We should be thinking, you know,
it's rather arrogant of Gita to think that employers are not trusting their employees work from home. They're not probably that connected, I should imagine, as Dita is with her employees, but it's more on a family unit basis and is more flexible. They have to look, at the end of the day, profit seems to be a dirty word at the moment. Profit is the main thing that's going to keep things going. And the government, people forget that when they say the government should pay this, the government should pay that, it's our money. And the government, to get our money, has to tax profits, it has to tax salaries to get this money. It's not a money tree. So we have to be realistic. The newspapers, I'm afraid, and media, this constant woe, misery, they're building up. Why can't we have a glass half full instead of a glass half empty all the time? And basically, there are workers that do produce more, but in the first euphoric stage of working from home, productivity went up, but productivity is now decreasing, and it's a statistical fact because it's work fatigue syndrome.
We are going to have to draw things to a close there,
Productivity decreases when you feel poor and you can't eat and you're cold.
I suspect this conversation will continue for you too, won't it? But
I'm
thank
sure
you very
because
much.
the violins are coming out now, and I don't have to like violins.
We'll give you a room. You guys can go and sit in and sort this out.
Thank you so much.
Come back in a few weeks' time. Let us know how you got on.
I suspect they still wouldn't have come to an agreement.
Exactly.
That's what I'm thinking.
Tina and Gita, it's brilliant.
Both
And, you know,
it's
great that you came on. Thank you very much.